Hello, music fans. You're watching Death by Unicorn, where we talk about metal, rock, and prog music. And today I'm doing something maybe not so unique in the YouTube world right now. Everybody's talking about the return of Rush, and I figured I'd react to and analyze the set lists of their first four shows that they played in over a decade. They played four nights in LA at Kia Forum. And they played a different set list every night, which I love that they do that. And before I jump into talking about the songs that they played, gotta say, welcome to the touring lineup of the band, Anika on drums and Loren on keyboards. They're both doing well from what I've seen of the videos. I haven't watched any of these full shows yet on YouTube, but I've been watching some clips. I'm going to see them live in Toronto in August. So I don't think I'm gonna sit down and watch a whole show from start to end yet. Uh, don't want to spoil any of the little details, like any changes that Annika might bring, any of her parts being slightly different than Neil's. Kind of just want to see those live in real time as they happen. Although I might watch some more of it on YouTube. I don't know yet. I'm thinking maybe after this video, I'm thinking about making my ideal set list, like what my favorite set list would be. I think maybe I'll try to rank the set lists of the nights too in this video and see which night I prefer. And let me know what night was your favorite set list down in the comments. Also, let me know if you're interested in seeing a video of what my ideal set list would be. And do you think this lineup of Rush will make a new album after this? Not just a live album, I mean, but a studio one with new tracks. I hope so. And we'll have to wait and see. That'd be really cool. So here I'm showing the frequency of how many nights each track got played. So there's this core group of 12 songs. If you break down 2112 into its seven parts and count each part as its own song rather than count 2112 as its own song, because they played 2112 in full on two of the nights, but they only played three of the seven parts every night. So they kind of play a shortened version of 2112 sometimes on two of the half the nights. So if you count that, there's 12 songs that are in the core set list. They're always opening with Xanadu, which is a cool opener, a track that I really love, and it's kind of a unique opener. I don't think they've ever opened with this track until this tour, and it kind of starts out very slow and with like subtle percussion, like the and yeah, just very slow, free-forming, no real beat, kind of just this free-form playing from Alex with some drums accenting things. But then when it gets in the song proper, it has that awesome riff that do dee dee do dee do dee do, which is sweet. And then the whole song's just a really awesome epic journey. I think it's a really cool way to start the show. And they're always ending the show with Working Man, which is from their self-titled debut album and actually their only studio album not to feature Neil Peart on drums. But they're basically going back to like their big hit from or the fan favorite from their debut album, Working Man, which is a cool way to close the show with like their oldest track that they play every night. And yeah, they do lots of tributes to Neil throughout the night and they honor his legacy really well. And Anika plays his parts really well. So that's really cool. And then the other tracks that they've played every night, Limelight, Subdivisions, those are two good hits. Bravado and Time Stand Still were kind of the ones that surprised me. They're not ones that I'm usually the biggest fan of. They're not bad. No, none of these Rush songs are bad, but in terms of like being among my favorite, 20 to 30 Rush songs, like however many they can play in a night, they wouldn't make it for me. more of a fan of the period from their debut up to and including Signals from 1982. After that, so those are the Rush albums that I love. After that, I like and kind of enjoy some of their albums, but I don't have the same love for their output after Signals. I know everybody likes different periods, but yeah, I'm not as big on the 80s synth period or the 90s where they're kind of grungier. I feel like they returned to form a little bit on Snakes and Arrows, which is probably my next favorite after my that core period, and then Clockwork Angels, which is probably my next favorite after that. Um, but yeah, between after Signals and before Snakes and Arrows, I kind of lost interest in their catalog, although it's still pretty good. They don't make anything bad. So yeah, Bravado and Time Stand Still seem to be ones that they're playing every night. I think they actually had Amy Mann, I think is her name, do come out and do vocals on Time Stand Still. Uh, I don't know if she's gonna be on the whole tour with them. I'm assuming not. So I don't know what they're gonna do with this track after LA. Like, was she just with them because it was in LA and she happened to be in the area while they were playing there, or is she actually gonna just be with Rush on tour and come out for Time Stand Still every night of their tour? That would be quite the commitment from her. Maybe that'll happen, but I doubt it. So maybe they'll still do this song, but do it without her. Maybe they'll have a video of her or a projection of her or something, or maybe someone else will do the vocals. Maybe Anika will do the vocals. I don't think so. Or maybe they'll have a different guest vocalist come up and do it every night, or maybe Getty will just do it himself. I don't know. So yeah, not sure what they're gonna do with Time Stand Still after. The Spirit of Radio was every night. That's an awesome one that they have to do. Same with like Limelight and Subdivisions. Those are classics that deserve to be played at every show. The three parts of 2112, great classic. YYZ, classic instrumental. I know Americans will call it YYZ. As a Canadian, I'll call it YYZ, but call it either way. Tomato, tomato. Uh, Tom Sawyer, they're probably their biggest hit, I would think. So it has to be there every night. So those are the tracks they played every night. And then there were these three tracks that they played three nights. Free Will, Vital Signs, and Red Barchetta. Red Barchetta is probably my favorite Rush song. It's from Moving Pictures. Love it. I wish they played that every night. Honestly, like if I could change things around in my ideal set list, I'd probably take out Bravado and Time Stand Still and make sure these three tracks got played every night. And yeah, then there's some others that only get played two nights that I'd also have played every night. So in this tracks that they played only two nights, there's Far Cry from Snakes and Arrows, which is a great one. That's probably my favorite track from Snakes and Arrows. Really great, energetic rhythm to open up the track. Honestly, that could have been a good concert opener, but it's maybe not a big enough hit, a big enough fan favorite. I could see that being a good. So they basically do two sets. So they take an intermission. I could see this being a good opener for the second set rather than the first set. La Villa Strangiato, a really awesome instrumental, even more adventurous of an instrumental maybe than YYZ. I wish they did that every night as well. Distant Early Warning, they only played two nights. And Dreamline and Red Sector A. I'm not as familiar with those three because they're outside of my favorite period of Rush. The Garden is a great track from Clockwork Angels. I believe it's the last track on their last album, so it's kind of special in that way. And it's a great track. Um, but Tour in the Snow Dog, I think, is really fun. I think that'd be a cool one for them to play every night. Same thing with the trees. I really love that. I wish they played that every night, but only on half the nights they played that. And Long Flight is kind of outside of my favorite period of Rush. But yeah, I think it's really cool that they played the entire 2112 on two of the nights. I think that'd be really cool to see them do. Closer to the Heart, I'm surprised they didn't play it every night. I think it's, one of their biggest hits, probably in their top five, top four. They only played it on two of the nights. Anthem would be great to see them play every night. Witch Hunt as well would be great to see them play every night. Same with Finding My Way. New World Man's a pretty good one, and The Camera Eye, I'd love to see them play every night as well. And then these are the tracks they only played one night. Caravan, Natural Science, which I'd love to see them play every night. I think it's great. The Analog Kid, Leave That Thing Alone, Animate, A Passage to Bangkok, which I'd love to see every night. I think it's a great track. The Pass, The Anarchist, and A Farewell to Kings, which I'd also love them to play every night because I think it's awesome. So those are the tracks they played. Got another visual here showing all those tracks. The ones they played on 4 nights in green, 3 nights in blue, 2 nights in yellow, and 1 night in red. And it actually shows, what night they played each of those songs on. So you can see Free Will was played on night one, two, and four. Vital Signs was one, three, and four, and Red Barchetta was one, two, and three. And I'm not going to go through all of these again, but if you want to analyze this amazing visual, feel free to pause the video and take a look at it. And then lastly, I wanted to look at this other view that I made of it. And when I say I made, I mean I was heavily assisted by AI in putting these together after feeding it the data. But this visual I think is pretty cool because you can see the order that they played the tracks in as well, which I think is pretty cool. So they're opening, like I said, they're opening every show with Xanadu and they're closing every show with Working Man. Um, I think the last two tracks each night are the encore, so they're always doing a two-track encore, and they're often ending 3 of the 4 nights before the encore. They ended the show proper with Tom Sawyer, but on the third night they ended it with their shorter version of 2112 instead of Tom Sawyer. They played Tom Sawyer earlier in the set there. So that's kind of cool. They seem to always have bravado around the fifth or sixth track. I think there's some video accompaniment that goes with it that kind of fits at that spot, and they seem to always have Time Stand Still. Here 18, here 21, here 18, and here 22. They kind of always have it in the like 18th to 22nd spot as well. And YYZ, they're usually putting a couple or a few tracks before Tom Sawyer with some tracks in between. Or here they put it after because they played Moving Pictures in its entirety on night three in order. So Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, YYZ, Limelight, The Camera Eye, Witch Hunt, which I think is really cool. Oh, and Vital Signs also on that album. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, my reaction. So I looked at the set lists after each show they played, and kind of here's what I was thinking in real time. When I saw night one set list, I thought it was a really good set list, but then I kind of thought to myself, what would I like to see changed? And I figured I'd like it more if they got rid of Bravado, Dreamline, and Time Stand Still and replaced them with The Trees, Closer to the Heart, and A Passage to Bangkok. And maybe even Bastille Day, which is one that they don't play on any night, which I think would be cool for them to play. And I expected they would actually do this and have four different set lists every night, four different set lists. And I wonder if these are going to be the four set lists that they just alternate between because the most number of days they play in any city is four. So maybe they'll just kind of keep alternating, night one, night two, night three, night four through these, or maybe they'll shift them up like even more. I'm assuming they're going to keep the same core 12 songs. They're going to be played every night. And I think we've probably seen every song that they're going to play as we've had. I mean, if you count 2112, how you count it, it's 15 plus 9, it's 24, 34, 43 tracks if you count 2112 as the seven different parts. So I think we've probably seen them play everything they're going to play unless they have some surprises up their sleeve. And so after night two, I was actually really happy to see that the tracks that I wanted them to add, the trees closer to the heart and Passage to Bangkok, they added all of those. So that's great. Trees, Passage to Bangkok, and Closer to the Heart. Did they not play Closer to the Heart on night two? I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Oh yeah, they did right here, right before Passage to Bangkok. I am blind sometimes. Um, so I think that was cool. I think I like the set list for night two better than night one. I think night one might be the weakest of the four set lists, but they're all pretty close and pretty cool. Um, but they dropped between night one and night two, they dropped Vital Signs and Natural Science, La Villa Strangiato, and Vitor and the Snow Dog. And those are all tracks I love, so I was disappointed to see they dropped those. They also dropped Caravan, which I think is a very good track too. They dropped Dreamline, which was one of the ones I'd pick for them to drop if I had to choose. Though, of course, like I said before, none of the songs they play are bad, so don't come after me with a pitchfork if Dreamline's your favorite song. They also dropped Red Sector A, which I'm fine with as well. And I think the cool thing about night two that probably surprised people is them playing 2112 in its entirety after only playing three of the seven parts in night one. They also added Headlong Flight, which is fine, but wouldn't be one I'd choose. They added Anthem, Witch Hunt, and Finding My Way, which are all great tracks. Now, on night three, they brought back Dreamline and Red Sector A, which whatever. Those aren't, I didn't really need those songs. But they brought back La Villa Strangiato and Bytor and the Snow Dog, which I was pumped to see. They added New World Man, which is all right, but it wouldn't be my choice. And they played Moving Pictures in its entirety. So that's the cool thing that they did here. Tom Sawyer, Red Barchetta, YYZ, Limelight the Camera Eye, Witch Hunt. Vital Signs, front to back, Moving Pictures, my favorite Rush album, so I love to see that. But they removed the trees and Passage to Bangkok, which I love, and they only played the short version of 2112, and I'd love to see the whole thing. But all in all, I think this might even be better than the night two set list. I think the special awesome sauce here is them playing moving pictures from start to finish. So I think maybe night three would be my favorite of the first three nights. So three, then two, then one is how I'd rank these three. And then after night four, the exclusives that they brought in here were The Pass, The Anarchist, and Farewell to Kings. The Pass and The Anarchist aren't Rush songs that I listen to much, but I love that they played Farewell to Kings as an exclusive. I think that's an awesome one. I like that they bring back Far Cry because I think that, that's my favorite track from Snakes and Arrows, probably. And I like that they do 2112 in its entirety again. And I like that the trees is here. And what I don't like is they don't have Villa Strangiato closer to the heart or Passage to Bangkok. But I still think maybe night four might be the best. So I think they actually kind of got progressively better with the set list. Night four being my favorite, then night three, then night two, then night one. So every night they just kind of shocked people, surprised people with the differences. Though it's really close between night three and night four as to which I'd be the most excited to see. But yeah, I'm leaning towards Night 4 being the best. Let me know what your favorite is down in the comments, as I said. And let me know, do you think that this lineup of Rush is going to make a studio album together? And should I make another video where I make my ideal set list for Rush? Just, I might do one where I'm just limiting myself to choosing songs that are on this list. So it's kind of like my realistic one of what I'd like to see them play from the songs that I know they've practiced with Anika, which is all these songs. She obviously hasn't had time to learn and master every single Rush song, I don't think. So I think these are the songs they're going to focus on. And maybe I'll also make like what my dream set list would be if it could be anything and I wasn't confined to these tracks. Let me know if you're interested in seeing that. And if you like metal, rock, and prog music and you just kind of stumbled upon this video because I'm talking about Rush, I also talk about new music all the time, new music that's coming out in the metal, rock, and prog worlds. I post my first impressions of new albums as they come out every week. And occasionally I'll do something like this where I talk about a classic band and classic music. This was fun. So stay tuned. I'll hopefully probably make one more at least Rush related video shortly with my ideal set lists from these tracks and just dream set list. And I might even make like a concert review video after I see the Rush concert in Toronto in August. Also, let me know if you'll be there and stay tuned for all that. Peace out.